Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Caldwell, and I'd love to share to you my adoption story. I was adopted at age 3, and I was born and raised in Thailand. I was born in Ubon, and I was pretty much born and raised in the northeastern region of Isan. And up until 10th grade, I pretty much all I knew about my adoption was that my birth mother was super, super, super sick, and she could not, have finances to take care of me, and that's why she gave me up for adoption. And so that's all I knew up until 10th grade. But once 10th grade came, my adoptive parents, Mark and Helen Caldwell, felt that as I'm growing older, I should know more information. And so they took me aside and they told me more about my adoption story, and they told me that my birth mother had AIDS. She, that's why she gave me up. And, that was really, really shocking. And, the reason why she was so sick back then, they didn't have any of those treatments. And so it was very easy for her to be infected by AIDS. And the amazing part is that um, she actually found out that she had AIDS after she was pregnant with me, had a natural delivery, and she breastfed me. This was all three. Like, she found out after all three of those things happened. And the most amazing part was that I survived through all three of those potential possibilities of me having HIV infection. And so when I heard that in high school, I was amazed because I realized God really saved my life, and He knew that I had potential in life. And so um, that's what my uh, parents told me. They told me that the reason why your birth mother gave you up was because of because of her sickness and because of AIDS, and you are a miracle child. And so I was amazed. I was amazed at God's work. And I think, but that's not all to the story. um, there's more to the story. As I grew older and I started college, I am almost starting and in the middle of junior year. There's more to the story, and my parents felt like Nancy's ready to learn more about her birth mother. And what I found out was that my my birth mother and I lived in a HIV positive community in Thailand, and we were treated as outcasts. We were treated as the untouchables. We were treated as if we had leprosy. People feared us, people hated us, people didn't want us. And even though I was HIV negative, and the medical records showed I wasn't allowed to go to school. I wasn't allowed to go to daycare, kindergarten. And so my birth mother knew immediately that I would never have a future with her in this community, being treated like this. And so she knew that she had to have options. She didn't want me to be into foster care because that led to sex trafficking. And back then, the orphanages weren't very good orphanages, very abusive. And some of the kids who would turn 18 go into the streets, and they're sex traffickers. And I mean, Thailand is the world's, it's well known for having the world's population of sex trafficking. And so she knew the dangers in that. And actually, the adoptive family, the Caldwell family that adopted me, they are missionaries in Thailand. And so at that time, they were actually ministering to the HIV positive community where my mother and I lived, and ministered to my mother and several others, and they became Christian. And so, and well, my mother became Christian, everybody became Christians. And so, my mother just really gave it all to the Lord, and she knew that there's no potential in Nancy if she were to continue to live with me in this community. Um, and she knew that I needed a future. I needed to continue to um, uh, allow the gift of God who protected me through all three different possibilities of me getting AIDS, that um, I needed to pursue his plan for me. And so, actually, my adoptive family had been praying for a little girl, and of course, she had been praying for adoptive family. And God really worked in both my adoptive family and in my birth mother, and it all worked out so perfectly. So I became part of the Caldwell family, and I think the one memory that I have is just a couple last words that my birth mother said to me before they took me to the Caldwell family was that all is well, you are going to be okay, and God is with you. And I don't know why I specifically know those words, but those words have really like been in my heart and in my memories. And I know I'm getting like chills in my spine right now, but um so that just really opened doors for me to have opportunities to reach out through child ministries, to find the passion of working with children in healthcare settings. And in high school, I worked with an orphanage, a ministry with kids who were HIV positive. And so I think that sparked a fire, and that really made me just on fire for wanting to serve others who are in need, especially healthcare, situations. And so, um, yeah, that's my story. And I know that God continues to protect me, continues to provide for me, and I hope that one day I can see my birth mother and tell her it is well, and God is good, and I am okay. And so I really hope that I can see her again and tell her those words and fulfill her dreams, fulfill my Caldwell family's dreams, and especially, above all else, fulfill God's plan for me. So yeah, that's my adoption story, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.